Let's close our eyes. Pay attention to our breathing. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in lots of positive energy. Distribute this energy to all the parts that need healing. And breathe out all the stale energy. Pay attention to any aches and pains. Breathe in lots of love. Send love to all the aching parts. Breathe out. Breathe in lots of faith and integrity. Let every cell in the body resonate with faith and integrity. And breathe out any doubts or confusions. Breathe in peace and prosperity. Feel the calmness within. And breathe out any residual confusions, chaos, or doubts. Breathe in joy and care. Feel the joy within. Know that you are taken care of. And breathe out any and all loneliness. Resume normal breathing. Invoke angels, archangels, your ancestors. Seek their guidance and blessings. Feel connected with them. Invoke Mahavtar Babaji, your family deities, loving and healing masters. Connect to their frequencies to receive constant guidance. Invoke your higher consciousness, radical consciousness, and the prime resource energy. Feel aligned to these frequencies. Express your gratitude to Atman, to all our mentors to this radical tool. Feel oneness with the universe. Become aware of the physical reality around you. Be connected to Mother Earth. Be grounded and rooted. So we can explore our beliefs and conditionings. To help us evolve a little further today. Thank you. The chakra for this morning is BLR7. Right fair redistribution of brunt chakra. It's a BLR7, right fair redistribution of the brunt chakra. Reminder to put your best foot forward by easing out the brunt. You may not be putting your best foot forward due to perceived possibility of bearing the brunt, an impact or a blow or a burden. Examine why you would allow such an experience in your universe. How can you ease the brunt? How can you redistribute your responsibility and be free from the effect of others' attempts to bully you, blame you, or burden you in an unfair manner? And yet you put your best foot forward in your chosen direction. You need to learn to assertively distribute the load of life and still create a lasting impression. So we will do some R5 statements and get a little insight into our belief system. Who will repeat after me? All right, I'll repeat the statement 3 times and you can simply listen to it.
Okay, ma'am. So what to do? You will recite and I will listen.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
I R5, I need to bear the brunt. I R5, I need to bear the brunt. I R5, I need to bear the brunt. I R5, I need to bear my perceived brunt. I R5, I need to bear my perceived brunt. I R5, I need to bear the perceived brunt. R5, my resistance to take the responsibility due to perceived brunt. I R5, my resistance to take up the responsibility due to perceived brunt. I R5, my resistance to take up the responsibility to take the perceived brunt. I R5, my fear of taking on the brunt. I archive my fear of taking on the brunt. I archive my fear of taking on the brunt. I archive my resistance to take on the brunt. I archive the resistance to take on the brunt. I archive the resistance to take on the brunt. I archive my unawareness about my resistance to take on the responsibility. I archive my unawareness about my resistance to take on the responsibility. I archive my unawareness about the resistance to take on the responsibility. I archive my unawareness. I archive my unawareness. I archive my unawareness. I archive my association of responsibility with taking the brunt. I archive my association of responsibility with taking the brunt. I archive my association of responsibility with taking the brunt. I archive the association of taking the brunt with being taken advantage of. I archive my association of taking the brunt with being taken advantage of. I archive the association of taking the brunt with being taken advantage of. I archive my need to be equal. I archive my needed to be treated equal. I archive my need to be treated equal. I archive my need for justice. I archive my need for justice. I archive my need for justice. I archive my anger about taking advantage of. I archive my anger about being taken advantage of. I archive my anger about being taken advantage of. I archive my need to get even with people taking advantage of me. I archive my need to get even with people who are taking advantage of me. I archive my need to get even with people taking advantage of me. I archive my fear of people rejecting me. I archive my fear of people rejecting me. I archive my fear of people rejecting me. I archive my need to be stuck between the feelings of rejections and reluctance to take responsibility. I archive my need to be stuck between the feelings of feeling rejected and resistance to taking responsibility. I archive my need to be stuck between the perceived rejections by people and the perceived burden due to taking responsibility. I see my need to get stuck. I feel my need to get stuck. I acknowledge my need to get stuck. I love and accept my need to get stuck. I honor my need to get stuck. I honor the brilliance in my need to get stuck. I am my need to get stuck. And my need to get stuck is me. I recognize my need to get stuck. I recognize my need to get stuck. I recognize my need to get stuck. I archive my association of being stuck with status quo. I archive my association of being stuck with status quo. I archive my need to be stuck. I archive my association of being stuck with status quo. I archive my need to realize that status quo is not aligned with growth. I archive my need to realize that being in status quo is not aligned with growth. I archive my need to understand that being in status quo is not aligned with growth. I archive my need to move on and grow. I archive my need to move on and grow. I archive my need to move on and grow. I archive my need to take action and take responsibility. I archive my need to take action and responsibility. I archive my need to take action and responsibility. Any thoughts?
No, ma'am. R5, my what I have to say, my dharna, my perception about myself.
I archive my perception about myself and my abilities. I archive my perception about myself and my abilities. I archive my perception about myself and my abilities. I archive my beliefs and conditionings. I archive my beliefs and conditionings, preventing me from taking action. I archive my beliefs and conditionings, preventing me from taking action. I archive my beliefs and conditionings, preventing me from taking action. I take responsibility for myself and others for taking action for my spiritual growth. I take responsibility for myself and others for taking action for my spiritual growth. I take responsibility for myself and others for my spirit, to take actions for my spiritual growth. Does it feel settled?
Yeah, ma'am. I take responsibility for my for all circumstances and all situations. I take responsibility for all life situations and circumstances.
responsibility for what we can do. And if there is something that I can do, I will not just sit idle, watch and complain. I will not be in a status quo. I will try to come out of my comfort zone, because I know every action of mine taken consciously helps me grow. Yeah. So that is how we would try and distribute the brunt. Delegate some responsibilities, take on the important ones, distribute it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bhuvana, you have anything to share?
No, I'm feeling good, but I had one thing that which came with bearing the brunt. I feel like there was one thing from yesterday I'm feeling that unsupported, my feeling of being unsupported.
I find my need to support myself.
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 So
when I feel that when I support myself, I'm I feel like I'm a rebel, like they see me as a rebel.
Yeah. See, we know that we are always supported by the universe. And when I align with the universe, giving up all my expectations and demands. The problem is my expectations and demands of others. I expect you to support me. That's the problem. And somewhere making peace with it. You are playing your role, and I have chosen you in my life for who you are and not for who I want you to be. Because the way you are going to poke and prod me in certain areas so I can overcome my beliefs and conditionings and become a little evolved person. But I have forgotten that. And I continue to say, Bhuvana, be like this. Why are you not like this? Why don't you wake up at 6 in the morning with me? Why don't you work with me? Why don't you teach me? Whatever. And the minute Bhuvana does not do it, I'm angry at her. And then I feel unsupported. I feel unloved. I feel alone. I feel rejected. So the biggest challenge for us, I'm working on that too, is to understand that everybody is playing their roles just fine. My expectations and demands are the problem.
Mm.
And once I have, okay, that is how it is. And if, things need to be done, and if people are not supporting, it's okay.
Mm.
If the things are, see, we may need certain things in certain way all the time, but the same need is not for other person, because our need is also conditioned.
Yes.
It is not because I want it.
Mm.
See, if I really wanted something, I would probably live with just bare minimum in a smallest possible house
Mm.
where I don't have to maintain anything.
Mm.
Now, I want to impress people. I want to make people comfortable when they visit us. I want nice crockery set. I want, all of that.
Correct.
And then we expect someone else to cooperate with us.
Correct.
That is where we are stuck. I am stuck for sure.
Yes.
And there is unnecessary brunt, there is unnecessary burden, all because of, again, beliefs and conditioning. Again, we go back to the same spiral, right?
Yes.
So at least for today, if we can accept that I have chosen people in my life
Mm.
who are living their stories,
Yes.
they are doing fine the way they are.
Mm.
I am living my story.
Mm.
There is going to be no compatibility for sure.
Mm. Mm.
We keep telling, that we are so unique beings and we are like, nobody's there like us and you're so special. And we only take it for something nice.
Mm.
Bhuvana is an artist and I say, okay, Bhuvana, there is nobody on planet Earth like you. Then we feel good about it. But then when I expect you, when I say, don't expect others to be handing you the paints or buying you the paints or selling off the paintings you do, then I'm not happy about it, because I need somebody to be doing all that work just like how I would do it.
Mm.
So we are not treating the whole situation with neutrality.
Mm.
So for today, we'll accept the fact that everyone is living their story and our expectations and demands from anybody is futile effort, which is creating problems for us.
Yes.
And we will try and be aware of my expectations and demands of others. There are expectations and demands of myself also.
Mm.
But for now, I'm going to be paying attention to what is my demand of my maid. What is that I'm demanding from the milkman? What is that I'm demanding from my son? What is that I'm demanding from my boss? Every second, with every person in our life, if we can become aware of the demands I have of them and drop them,
Mm.
I think all this will just settle in.
Yeah. Correct.
Right? Say if you are
Start
living
small things with
very
small.
small, very, very trivial, because these thoughts are, right from my son placing the glass in a certain way in the sink. It begins from there.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So for him, placing it in the sink itself is a big deal.
Yes.
I'm helping you that I'm putting it back in the sink. But for me, it has to be placed certain thing. You have to rinse it and then put it there. You should not splash water around the sink. If you do, wipe it off. Won't work. I suffer. And I've been suffering.
Yes, yes. I'm getting what you're saying.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where I take responsibility for my action, for my growth. Now, taking action is, okay, I'm taking action to become aware of my expectations of others.
Yes.
And it's not easy, it's going to take time, but begin dropping one at a time.
Yes.
Eventually, it will be live and let live. I will live the way I am, because imagine the other way around. What if other people start demanding that we live according to them? What would
Yes.
happen to me? You know, my son wants me to cook for him a puri sabji every morning for breakfast. Then my husband wants idli sambar. Then my mother-in-law wants soft rice and whatever. Imagine what's going to happen to me. I'll be cooking forever
Mm.
just with breakfast.
Mm.
So we just can't. I mean, that is when we start defying. And so people are also defying our demands.
Yes.
So that is where I think we need to become neutral. What works for me also works for others. So let me be very aware of that.
Yes. And also the reflection works, no? If I'm expecting, immediately there's a effect when I'm expecting, I see the mirror, somebody else shows me the mirror, they expect out of me. So
yeah, that mirroring is also something very beautiful. I have not understood it completely, but
yeah, what Atman did in one of that love class, you know. So it's the mirroring thing is like this, okay, like there was one example of one person, like her husband would drink, and he's a very sober person, but only when he drinks he would abuse. So then through the role through the thing, now when she through the R5s, she understood that it was the woman's suppressed anger that the man was reflecting when he was drunk.
Okay.
So actually everybody around us are mirror images of us only. So like if I would see my mother-in-law being very stubborn and unreasonable, I should go and check where I am being stubborn and unreasonable. The minute I am okay with it, the minute I integrate that part, and I'm saying, yeah, that is a part of me, and I'm okay with it, then I become okay with her. And that person stops being that unreasonable. So it just comes as a reminder. That's what we learned in one of the classes. But this works. The mirror thing is always works. That I always see that when I do something, I try when I know that something is getting very difficult, I see, okay, where am I being? Okay, let me integrate that and let me be okay with it. It's just come for integration.
Oh, that's a nice way. That's
that's one thing that she taught us, and it is a very unique way of, and it's quite it has very quick immediate results it gives you, because you just have to integrate that part. But sometimes we are so lost in feeling that we refuse to see that can be me. No, we say.
yeah. No, but that the statements you use, right? Okay, let me see what is that in me. They have just come to integrate in me. Let me just integrate them in me.
I worked on this quite a lot, and I work only with this, Shubha, like now, because
Okay.
this was it's a very advanced way and a very quick way also. And of course, you have to do the R5 for that. For that thing, you just do the R5. Supposing
Correct.
supposing I'm feeling exploited, I just go and see where I have exploited people. So they're just showing me a mirror of, something in my past which I am holding a guilt and regret. And the minute I think like that, it comes. The image or that scene comes. So then just integrate that.
Correct. Yeah, that integrating part, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we have to integrate and we have to be okay with it. We have to be okay because these are the rejected parts that have come for acknowledgement through people.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we had all these aha moments in that there was one love class which I think you missed.
Yeah, I don't think I took anything after my
that was the highlight of that thing, was this.
Okay.
She only did this method, and I suggest that you also do this, because since you understand this you just see if supposing my dog is barking too much, where am I annoying people by shouting at people and annoying them. So and integrate, okay, that is me. Sometimes I do that, I'm okay with that. The minute I do that, my dog calms down, I calm down, and I integrate that part, but I have to be okay with it. It's just being okay. It's like since you also know this, Shubha, that the body is just a vehicle and we are just a witness, we are neutral observers, right? So what we do is, when we identify suddenly with that emotion, we're thinking this is my pain and this is my story, my thing. The minute we identify, there's an energy block and we go in loops in that thing. So essentially in our files, we are being the witness. So we allow the feeling to pass through us, and then we just integrate it as a part of learning, or as I witnessed this and this felt like this, and that's all it was.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's all it was. So this is difficult because we are conditioned, but this is the learning, and we have to practice this because we have to allow everything to pass through our body and not take the mind story so seriously. Like, okay, this was the story. Okay, you made the story out of this. Okay. Just like, just like a mind is a bacha which makes, stories, and then the body feels and tags along with it. And then we allow everything to pass through our body and we say, okay, you felt like this. Okay.
All right. I think this will work with, I have been having lots of back pain from top to bottom. So
yeah, but
I
so
know
back also is support, right? Unsupport.
Correct.
The feeling that life doesn't support me. All these things we have. Yeah, the next stage anyway, Shubha, I think is about being, about awakening, about being and about awakening. I think that's what she's teaching also in level 4. It's awakening and being, and awakening and being. But many of us, like, who are stuck, like we don't want to take the plunge. Yesterday also there was a thing which Varsha
in the soul
Varsha
meta
did soul meta play. It was like many of them, the students only.
Just a second, Bhuvana, I'll stop recording.
Yeah.